Hello everybody and welcome to the Daytona International Speedway as we get ready for the knockout qualifying for the Daytona 500. We are once again under the lights here at this awesome super speedway. I am being joined by Mr. NNSCRA himself, Seth Cole. Seth, thank you once again for joining me up here in the booth.
Thanks for having me, Michael.
So, qualifying for the Daytona 500. All that important to a driver, or just an extra practice session?
Well, for some drivers, I think it could be important, but I think that basically what these drivers are going to be doing here tonight is just trying to get the setup they need for the Daytona 500. Obviously, they're going to want to start as close to the front as possible. For some drivers, they want to head in, they want to be the fastest on track, they want to get that pole position. But I think you're just going to see drivers working on Daytona 500 setups for as far as race setups rather than qualifying setups.
As we saw the 20 car randomly go out into the grass for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Alright. First car out on the track in this session is Elijah Gordon. We saw him in the Sprint Unlimited. Pretty much, I think he just used that as a test for his Daytona car, because we didn't really see him at the front much.
No, we didn't. And, you know, you see him running by himself right now, too, which says to me that he's more looking for a race setup than a qualifying setup, because I think more of the drivers that are going to be more interested in starting closer to the front of the field, getting the pole for the 500, you're going to see them working with other drivers in a pack.
Yes. As you see other cars start to come up onto the racetrack. We're gonna up next here. You see JT Bryant, the first of the I think 5 Penske cars, returning for season 8. He was also in the Sprint Unlimited as well. He had a good couple of runs until he got shuffled out of the front. Yeah,
I mean JT Bryant, he was for the most part of that Unlimited in the top 5 for a good stretch of it. And then we just saw him kind of fade to the back when everyone started getting racy. But, you know, JT Bryant definitely knows how to get his car to the front. But right now, like you can see, he's kind of running by himself. You look a few car lengths back, there's Jessica Shelton. They're not really working on drafting or anything to try and get fast laps right now. I think they're just basically working on race setups.
And speaking of Jessica Shelton, also in the Sprint Unlimited, was so close to a victory in it, but just came 1/1000th of a second short.
Yeah, practically a splitter separated her from a Sprint Unlimited victory. And, you know, I would say, you know, Jessica Shelton, a lot of people might be watching the fact that she's not trying to qualify for the pole position at this current point in time. Right now she's working more on race setup. And I think that's a bit of a threat to some drivers because they know how fast that machine is from what we saw take place in the Unlimited. So, you know, these drivers, they may be kind of taking a look over at that O2 camp and seeing what they're doing to try and see if they can duplicate it.
Alright, up next we have the number 19 of rookie Ryan Madden. This is him making his debut. Remember, unless he can win the pole, all rookies in Season 8 have to race their way into the Daytona 500. Remember, there are 50 drivers here this weekend trying to make it into the Great American Race.
Yeah, and for the rookies especially, if they can, you know, qualify up even in the top 10, that's quite a statement for that team, because we know that a lot of these teams are good because they ran last season, but the drivers have something to prove, especially the rookie drivers. So, you know, if we can see someone like Ryan Madden move up and qualify even in the top 14 and be in the final round, I mean, that's quite a statement right there for that driver.
Here we go. Up next is rookie Holden Gluba. I'm not sure if it is a guy or a girl.
I'm pretty sure it's a guy.
Alright, so then he's making his debut in the Budweiser All-Pro Series, driving the number 18 M&M's Toyota for Joe Gibbs. And right as you see behind him is his teammate Ryan Madden. Now, once again, a lot of not much is known, at least not as far as I know, about Holden, but he looks to make a name for himself in the Budweiser All-Pro Series.
Yeah, both of those drivers, Ryan Madden and Holden Gluba, took part in the first season of the Hershey's Cup Series. Ironically enough, Gluba ran in a Toyota in that series as well. Holden Gluba, actually a former winner in Hershey's Cup Series. Very, very good, especially at road courses. Ryan Madden, he had a very consistent season as well. He didn't get to victory lane, but the only history I have of him in Hershey's Cup was when he ran for Hendrick Motorsports. It'll be interesting to see how he does in a Joe Gibbs Toyota.
Here's Johnny Gardner returning in his number 77 for Penske Racing. He looks to improve his season. Couple of wins and a chase berth for him. Back here we have Stuart Gratton returning to the number 17 this season, leading a line of cars through the tri-oval here. He's currently 17th. Got to step it up a little bit in that number 17.
And I think a reason why he is where he is, 17th on the charts, is because he's leading this pack. Normally, if you're running back behind another driver, you're going to get a much faster lap being in the slipstream. You can see there, Kean Eddington, he's 15th fastest. So these drivers are running fairly similar lap times, but just a tick quicker for the 14 because he's in the 17's draft.
Yeah, on Eddington, remember, like I said, rookies have to race their way in. There is no safe point. Like there's no there's no falling back in qualifying speeds. It's literally you have to be among the fastest of the rookies. And if pretty much what you're saying is in the Can-Am duels, if you are in the bottom 4 of rookies, meaning if you're the last, like if you finish, I think it's gonna be what, 26 cars. There's usually 21, but there's gonna be 4 other cars, so 25. So if you finish 22nd or worse, and you're a rookie, you're practically gonna be eliminated from the race. So,
and keep in mind too, we've got 50 drivers that are going to be qualifying for a spot in the Daytona 500. 8 drivers aren't even on track that we're going to see take part in the Can-Am duels. So for those rookies, they don't know what kind of machines those other 8 drivers are going to have.
Very true. Very true. You see Austin LaPlante returning to the 48 in this small little pack. Let's see if it, try to keep on the track here. It's Joseph Srigley returning to the series in the number 44. For Richard Petty Motorsports. See if you can try to find.
Yeah, and Richard Petty, it's gonna be an interesting team because it seems like Penske's really got the odds in their favor as the number 1 Ford team. It'll be interesting to see what Richard Petty Motorsports does this season.
JJ Hartnett, O'Neill Baldwin working together. I'm gonna see if we can try to find. Oh, that's Kyle Matthews. Let's see if we can try to find our pole sitter, our current top of the charts pole sitter, Anthony McCurry, Jonathan Zorline making his debut. Zach Rogers returning since season. Zach Rogers has not been in the Budweiser All-Pro Series since season 1.
Yeah, been a long time since we've seen him racing here in the Budweiser All-Pro Series and making his return here. Very familiar to see him running a number 3.
Here's Corey Williams. He's a rookie this season, driving the famed number 88. Let's see.
Running right there behind his teammate.
Here's where the speed's gonna be.
Wow. Okay. Here's where the speed's at, folks.
Oh yeah, this pack of cars right here, even though they're racing side by side, look at Seth Cole's time of 45.098.
And you look here, take a look at all these drivers in here, and look at how many of them are up in the top 10 in speeds. You've got the 30, you've got the 42. See trying to see the numbers here.
16, 41, 42, 30, 70, 16, 26, 1, and 4.
Yeah, so you see the 42 and the 42 and the 30 are running the tail end of this pack. That's how they got the laps that would currently sit them on the front row for the 500.
We're looking at our defending series champion. That is Daniel Voiles. Now Daniel had one of the strongest chase cars of the entire chase. I mean, he pulled out top 10 finishes from nowhere.
And like I've said, when the chase starts, it's not as much about wins as it is about consistency, and Daniel Voiles proved my point last season 100%, especially with the consistency of having a decent finish at FDF to take the championship.
Now he pulls out in front of this pack of cars. This car is not wasting any chance, getting some drafting practice in. The top 2 cars currently are drafting one another 3 wide through turns 3 and 4 here.
Yeah, this is a car owner's nightmare. This is only qualifying. They're not really supposed to go 3 wide like this.
Hey, any chance they get to get them faster, but you always got to watch out, because if you wreck, you're going to the rear of the Can-Am duels.
Yeah, but, from a driver's perspective, 3 wide is not going to get you a faster lap time. you know, if you're double wide or more preferably single file, that's when you're going to get the lap times that are going to put you up in the top 14. 3 wide's not going to cut it.
All right, so let's take a look at our top 14 as of right now. The transfer into the next round. We have Seth Cole and the 42 of Nate Sherman, which is a good run for a rookie. And then,
yeah, absolutely. Like you said, rookies got to qualify up near the front if they're going to make the race.
Then the 10 of James Silverfox is back here in a smaller pack. He's third fastest. He's third fastest currently. Then we have Keon Eddington, who's now at the tail end of this little single file, well, it was single file pack. And then the 13 of Chris Dowd.
Yeah, he's in that pack that Silverfox is in. So even for a tiny pack, they're producing some pretty good speed. I see the 11 also up there in the top
he's up here.
8.
He's in 8th place currently. There's the 48 of Austin LaPlante back here. He's 6th. 7th is Charles Jackson. Let's see where he's running at. Charles is in this pack here. Yeah, Charles Jackson's in this pack. We talked about the 11 and the 22 of JT Bryant. He's in a pack he's in a pack back here too. He's got a couple of teammates in this pack.
Yeah.
2
Penske teammates there, Dylan Young and Johnny Gardner.
Then we saw the 3. We saw the 3 already. The 17 of Stuart Gratton got himself up into the top 14 now. And here's another driver who we haven't failed to mention, or we mentioned in the Sprint Unlimited. Here's Kyle Matthews in the 09. He's in this pack. He's in 12th place. Third driver for Retro Racing Enterprises.
Yeah, started on the pole for the Sprint Unlimited. We didn't see a whole lot of him up at the front once the Unlimited began, but, you know, I would watch out for him because we saw the speed out of Jessica Shelton almost getting the win in the Unlimited. We saw Charles Sanford up near the front during the Unlimited. So, you know, just because it's the third ride, don't think they haven't put a lot of effort into that third team.
And look who's controlling this pack.
The 88, the Pied Piper.
Someone who just moved into the top 10, Dylan Young. Right, he's 9th place, right in front of his teammate, JT Bryant.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. You got 2 Joe Gibbs racing cars, and you got 3 Penske cars there. You got to think they had that worked out somehow, that they were all going to be able to find each other to try and form up into a pack and try and lay down some fast lap times. Right now, 2 of those Penske cars would be moving on to the next round.
And currently sitting in the last transfer spot for the race is our defending champion, Daniel Voiles. Look at this pack up here.
Talk about razor's edge, but it's still not over. There's still a little bit of time for someone to knock him off there, because we've got about, I'd say, 3, maybe 4 potential packs where the speed is really being produced at this current point in time.
And with this pack right here, it wouldn't be doubt to see that 47 car jump up as well.
You know, the interesting thing for me is those 3 or 4 packs that I was talking.
That just changed.
McCrory just jumped up.
Charles Sanford is now in the
just
top
jumped
8.
up.
Poteet, Sanford, I think somebody else, 51 in 3rd place as well.
Oh, it's the 51. I'm sorry. On my screen, it shows up as a 61 because of my my graphics not being good. Apologize.
There's Dallas McIntosh, the newest driver to Tweenix Racing, in this pack that's being led by Dylan Poteet, Charles Sanford. This 4-car pack got themselves into the top 14 with 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining in the first round.
And you know why they did that? 2 things. 1, they didn't have other drivers around them. That can cause problems for lap time. That can cause some wind turbulence. And secondly, you see them now racing double wide, but just moments ago, they were in a single file pack. That's literally a jet stream going around the racetrack when you got 4 cars lined up single file like that.
3 cars now. Sanford pulls it to the inside, but it's going to come right back up into the draft of the 21. See how evenly they're spread out? Oh, something's wrong with Nate Sherman. He's slow.
Uh-oh. Yeah, 42. I don't know if he just came back on the racetrack after being on pit road or what, but he just killed the momentum of that group. And that also, in turn, kills Dylan Poteet's run because now he's lost the draft he was just using.
That is very true, very true. We got 20 seconds remaining in this session, and we're going to find out who's going to be the top 14 to advance.
Look who's running 13th fastest. We didn't really talk much about him here in this session, but Benjamin Miles in that 24 right now, trying to take the final transfer spot away from JT Bryant. And we saw him come up towards the front in the Sprint Unlimited there. He went 3 wide down the back straightaway on the final lap. So, you know, don't count out that 24 car.
It just changed again. Who else? Who else just jumped up? Oh, the 3 car got
the
back into the
13 jumped up to 3rd. Zach Rogers up to 5th. Oh, look at there. James Qualls jumped up to 7th.
This last 30 seconds, and they're trying.
O'Neal Balvin just jumped up to 9th.
The 47's up here as well. Man, what a
change.
Yeah,
Elijah Gordon.
Now the last transfer spot is the 03 of Charles Sanford.
And LaPlante's now the one on the outside looking in. And that knocked out a number of drivers that we were talking about that were up there in the top 14. Charles Jackson, Dylan Young, JT Bryant. Now they're all in danger of being eliminated from moving on to the next round.
Their session's now complete. These cars get to finish their lap.
Oh boy, this could get very, very interesting depending on where someone is in a pack.
As you see, Sanford's run's going to get killed because he got passed.
Yep.
So let's see, cars single file.
He's hoping nobody beats his lap.
Stays in 14th currently.
Yeah, so far so good.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
And that is the end of qualifying. And here's your top 14 that make it into the next round. Okay, so I need to take, before we talk about it, let me take a quick picture from 15th on back.
Taking a picture.
Actually, I don't even need to take a picture. I can just screen cap it later. So here are the drivers that failed to move on to the next round. See if we notice any big names in here, such as Jessica Shelton back to 31st.
Another name I'm seeing too. You also have just ahead there, Anthony McCrory. We saw the Audi. I thought I saw him up in the top 10 in speeds early on, but I didn't really ever see him get into a pack, so that apparently really hurt his time.
Yeah, it did.
Defending champ Daniel Voil's not going to be moving on. 24th fastest.
Look at Nathan Hudson back here too, defending Daytona 500 champion. He got
John Cittadino, Benjamin Miles, Trent Dunham. You know, and you look there at drivers that were, up until about maybe 2 minutes left in the session, that were in the top 14 and got knocked out late. Charles Jackson, JT Bryant, Sky Commons, and Dylan Young. They were all at one point up inside the top 14.
That's just how crazy Daytona is when it comes to drafting.
Absolutely.
Right, so now let's talk about the top... Oops. So now let's talk about the top 14 that made it in. Seth Cole, a strong run for his team, putting his car currently, not officially, but currently on the pole. Then Nate Sherman, Chris Dowd, Dallas McIntosh, couple of rookies taking 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Zach Rogers, James Silverfox, James Qualls, Grayson, I forgot how you say his last name. Acavito, Grayson Acavito, and O'Neal
Balvin. It's like avocado, but with a lisp.
Acavito. O'Neal Balvin, Elijah Gordon jumping up there, Dylan Poteet, Garrett Sidnor, Keon Eddington, and Charles Sanford, the final 14 that made it. Or the final.
And take a look at the difference between 14th and 15th place. 8/1000th of a second.
Yep. All it takes. That's all it takes to make it into the final round of qualifying. So we'll be right back. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back for some more qualifying for the Daytona 500. Welcome back to the Daytona International Speedway. The clock has started to count down. 10 minutes in this qualifying session. This is the 14 of the top 14 fastest cars from the previous round. This is what will set the pole and the 2nd position for the Daytona 500.
And you know the thing that I love? Most of these drivers that we saw move into the top 14 into this final round were from different groups on the racetrack. They're not all from the same pack. So we're going to get to see now, with them all with maybe different dancing partners, who's going to have the fastest car on track now.
Sanford and Seth Cole the first two drivers to go out on the racetrack. Seth Cole held the pole position pretty much all practice long, or all qualifying session long last round.
Well, it's interesting. You had the fastest driver in our first qualifying session and the slowest of the 14 drivers in that qualifying session who just barely made it in, Charles Sanford. So interesting. Two different sides of the spectrum going out on track together.
I think maybe Seth and Charles might have talked about maybe trying to hook up for this session maybe.
Well, keep in mind, we had 42 drivers on track for the first session. Now we've only got 14. So yeah, in order to lay down a fast enough lap time to even have a ghost of a shot at the pole, you've got to have a drafting partner out there, preferably 2 or 3 drafting partners if you're going to put down a fast enough lap time. And with it being only 14 cars, the separation from driver to driver is going to be huge around this 2.5-mile superspeedway.
Charles Sanford is going to start his first lap. Behind him, oops. Okay.
So many pit road cars.
Yeah, I know. Keon Eddington back here as well. Ooh, there's a couple of Tweenix drivers that are going to work together here.
Yeah, I think they might try and merge out here around the same time that Seth Cole's coming around. Maybe all 3 of the Tweenix cars trying to work together here. We'll see.
Seth Cole's all the way right here.
Yeah, he's on the back straightaway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll catch up to him.
These cars will be up to speed.
Oh wait, he already passed him. Shoot.
Yep.
Okay, never mind. I thought for some reason I thought they were just merging off the back straightaway. Poteet and McIntosh. My bad.
So yep, Poteet and McIntosh running roughly 137. They might be waiting. Look how slow they're going. Yeah,
it's taking them a little bit of time there to get onto the racetrack. I don't know if they were dragging the brakes or not.
That might have explained why the car, what's his name, was so slow in that previous one when they caught up to him that one time.
Yeah, that's possible. I know that in the first session we ended up seeing John Cittadino merging onto the track, and he seemed to be somewhat slow as well.
The first laps are coming in, and already Seth Cole's the fastest of the two, and Charles Sanford was the slowest, and now it was the 13.
Well, now he's moving up to the high side, and that's going to allow him the opportunity to be able to get the draft off the back bumper of Seth Cole's Chevrolet. So we may see him now step it up in lap times.
Seth Cole 47.48. I think that's already, no, it was a 45 in the previous session, wasn't it?
Right, yep. And you saw right there Charles Sanford, now he's dropped to 3rd, but even after he let Seth Cole by, just that little whiff of draft helped jump him up to 2nd. He's now sliding down through the standings, but you can just see how important the draft is.
Yep, Sanford now on the back, not exactly on the back bumper, but in a good drafting distance behind Seth Cole. It's all going to come down to how many cars are in a pack in this one.
Yeah, right now Charles Sanford in a good position being the draftee rather than the drafter. And so that's going to help him as far as his lap times are concerned. We should probably look around the track, see if anybody else has been able to hook up with anyone. There you see Zach Rogers, O'Neal Baldwin, so watch for those two to maybe make a charge for the front row.
Sanford just took the pole position away from Seth because of their drafting. Like I said, here's Zach Rogers and O'Neal Baldwin in here. Here's Elijah
You saw
Gordon.
there, the 3 sucked right up to the back bumper of O'Neal Baldwin's machine. I'd watch for him to maybe have a challenge for the pole position. There you see, stepping out maybe about 1/8 of a car length to the outside. That allows him to cool the heater, cool the engine down just a little bit, then tucks right up behind. This is going to be a great lap time for the 3.
We'll see. Coming to the line.
I'd be surprised if this doesn't jump to the top.
Nope, 3rd. Because look at who's on top now.
Tweenix Racing. Oh, well, Charles Sanford.
It was, yeah. Now it's Charles Sanford, but look at this Look at this right here, though.
Here's where the speed's going to be, and right there, the 31 car's in the best position because he's getting the benefit of this draft at the very tail end, and I wouldn't be surprised here. Sanford's holding the pole, but I think Poteet might take it back here on this lap.
Nope, not quite.
Boy, look at that. 4 cars running in the 47 ones. 2 of them rather, in this pack right here. The other 2 drafting with each other, Sanford and Seth Cole. And here you see right here, this is the tough thing about there being only 14 cars. You see the 16 of Garrett Sidner and you have the 70 of James Qualls. They're just hoping that they can maybe merge with somebody, but right now running all by themselves.
Yeah, running by themselves. But remember, look at Jimmy Johnson. You know, look at how well Jimmy Johnson was able to run his car when he was running by himself. The 11.
Yeah, and that could be strategy too. These drivers might, you know, like I said, starting this thing. For some drivers, starting on the pole for the Daytona 500 isn't all that important to them. They just want to have a somewhat decent starting position and work on their race setup here during this qualifying session. So that could be what we're seeing out of the 16, the 70, and some of these others that are running by themselves.
New top of the charts. Now rookie Dallas McIntosh and James Silverfox. The Silverfox now is going to go underneath the 51, break up that draft.
And you know, the one reason why we ended up seeing McIntosh jump to the top, he got a little whiff of draft off the back of James Qualls, because normally the driver leading the pack doesn't lay down the fast lap time, but because he was getting a little draft off the Ford Travel Motor Coach Chevrolet, that's why he jumped up to the top of the leaderboard.
Oh, not anymore.
Wow,
Now
he just beat his lap, too.
Now it's Dylan Poteet.
Yep.
Now James Qualls is finally caught up, is finally in a pack here. Now it's a 4-car pack.
Yeah, I don't know if James Qualls didn't want to start the pole position for the 500 or not, but I don't think he's got much of a choice right now. Now he's in a pack of cars, and we're going to see his lap times all of a sudden start shooting up.
The 10 wanted to go with the 51, but turned down a little too late.
And now they're going to start going 3 wide, and so now they've got to kind of form themselves back up. This is not going to help them lay down fast lap times. They've got to get back to double wide, preferably single file.
Dylan Poteet almost didn't know who to go with.
Yeah. Whichever line's moving, Dylan, that's the one you choose.
No change on the top of the board this time. 2 minutes remaining in the final round of qualifying. Give or take, because you know you got those extra like 2 30-second buffers.
And what a statement here for Tweenix Racing. If this race or this session would end right now, we would have Tweenix Racing on the inside of rows 1, 2, and 3 for the start of the Great American Race. If you know, but of course we got the duels as well. But at this point, that's what it would look like.
Well, they'd all be in duel number 1.
Right. Yeah, good point. They'd all start top 3 in the first duel.
Remember, we've seen a team finish 1, 2, 3 before at Talladega.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember that.
Coming to the line this time. Dylan Poteet still holds the top of the board, though, and they're coming up against the 16.
And there you see Qualls. He jumped up into the 47-2s now with a 6th place run because of getting the draft.
Poteet now going to try to get the draft off of the 16, but the 16 is going to go slide right back up to the outside. And Poteet, we should
Boy, I like the position James Qualls is in right now. He's got a driver pushing him. He's got a little bit of distance between himself and this group. If he doesn't suck up to the bumper, the 31 here into 3 and 4, he might have a good enough lap time. Well, maybe, well...
Oh, they're
I don't know.
11.
Still stay behind the 16, he may have a shot.
No, the 11, the 70 car has a good look at him. He's going to pull right up in front of the 51. The 11 car, I don't know what happened to Grayson Acevedo, but, ooh, second for
Whoa! Close.
46,
about a 10th
80.
off. Well, less than a 10th. Good Lord, he's only about 2 100ths slower than Poteet's fastest lap.
With less than 30 seconds remaining in the qualifying session, as you see the 13 and the 47 car, I haven't really been able to catch a pack, but this qualifying session, gonna have to wait and see as they're coming up to the end of qualifying. But remember, there's still they have, I think it's a full minute worth of buffer here.
Right. As long as they've crossed the start-finish line and they are on a timed lap, they still are able to run that final lap out.
Look who got it! Look who got it so far in the last 30 seconds.
Now, wait a minute. Have those two, Sanford and Seth Cole, merged with another group or something? Because they were by themselves before. Oh, they caught the tail end of O'Neal Baldwin and Zach Rogers' draft.
Look at this right here. This could be the lap coming to the line. They were fastest, but it was still Charles Sanford that was the fastest.
Man, they really got a heck of a run, I guess, because that was some lightning fast lap times out of both those Chevrolets.
Still got the last 30 seconds to see if they can do anything here.
And Elijah Gordon, you can see him right there. I'll bet he's hoping that he can merge with this group before they get to the start-finish line. Maybe actually lay down a legit lap in the draft.
Definitely going to see
Gonna hold
here.
up this for his progress, though.
Look at the outside line start to come into play again.
See if this picks up Elijah Gordon's lap at all in the 47. Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
I don't like this.
that was close.
Oh,
Did you see that? Did it even
They
count?
would have wrecked. I swear,
count?
they would have wrecked. They'd have been 4 wide and wrecked.
Wow, can you believe that?
Man.
Charles Sanford with his lap, Illuminati confirmed.
Don't tell Bob Jones.
46,666.
Man.
Seth Cole, 46,672. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is your top 2 starters for the Daytona 500.
And how ironic. Who were the first 2 who came off pit road for that qualifying session?
Yep, it was Seth Cole and Charles Sanford.
Yep. They knew something.
Yes, they did. Don't know exactly why I'm taking a picture when I can just screen cap it, but oh well, it's already been done. Alright, so pretty much up next is going to be the Can-Am duels at Daytona, where we will see if any one of the rookies, to see which 8 rookies are going home, and what other 40, I don't even know how many rookies I have, will make their first Daytona 500. Now, you also got to remember this. If you're a rookie who made signups and was able to qualify here today, even if you do not make it into the Daytona 500, your season is not over. You still have 29 other races to get back up in the point standings. So, Seth, what do you got to say, your final words for this qualifying session?
Well, I gotta say, it looks like Chevrolet right now, they are definitely the cream of the crop. You got a Chevrolet out of Retro Racing Enterprises. You got a Chevrolet out of, I think it's ML Motorsports this season. You've got 3 rides out of Tweenix Racing. I'll tell you what, Chevrolet looking really good. Looks like they're the team, or the manufacturer's going to bring the speed right now.
That's right. There's no foreign manufacturer actually in this field. Or no, technically no. I take.
No, you got a Toyota.
Yeah, you got Toyota. I forgot about the 11. The 11's a Toyota. I forgot about that. But so this is.
Yeah, but the 11's the only Toyota, and the 16 and the 10 are the only 2 Fords. So out of 14 drivers, 11 of them were Chevys.
Pretty much. So Chevy dominant qualifying here. Qualifying night. This is pole. They used to say pole day for the Daytona 500. Nope, it's pole night this year. So.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Seth, for being here to commentate. I'll see you for the Can-Am dual races coming up shortly, probably here in the next couple days or so.
Yep, sounds good.
So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe to become a part of the crew today. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, where there will be videos at some point coming out. At some point. It will.
Hashtag 2017.
Shut up. I'm not going to take that long.
All right, fine. 2018.
I said not that long.
All right, 2020.
All right. Well, for Michael Norman, the official voice of the Budweiser All-Pro Series, and Mr. NNSCRA himself, Seth Cole, we say, until we meet again.
Bye.